What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We just got back home with the Shelby. It did very good whenever we went down south and raced yesterday. Racing went fantastic, but we've got something cool to show you on the truck. As you guys remember, before I left, Doug was working on the mirrors, and I told you that he was gonna have it finished up by the time I got back. We were in a rush to leave, so I didn't get to get it on video for the most of it, but check this out. Look at that. Those are the Boost Auto Parts mirrors that I've been telling you guys about that I was so excited for. Hey, put it in reverse real quick. Look at this. Oh my gosh. The running lights on the side of the mirrors actually double as turn signals as well. Guys, seriously, I cannot thank Boost Auto Parts enough for making this truck look so much better. If you guys want to check out these mirrors or check out their key fobs or really anything, they've got a bunch of stuff for a bunch of different trucks. You can go down to the link in the description down below. If you've got a Duramax, this is a must-do mod. There's, oh my gosh. I'm glad to be back. We got back home last night at like 4 a.m. We had a long drive, and Shelby really did do very good. I'm really proud of it. I'm glad that we got to get that thing reliable. Doug's car has actually been up on the lift for quite a while now, if you guys know. We've been waiting on his trans and his clutch and everything to come in. Well, guess what? Clutch and trans and everything is back in place. All we're waiting on now for his trans is just this reverse sensor right here. Once we get the reverse sensor, we'll be able to hook it up as well as the O2 sensor extensions, and he'll have a car again with a whole stage 3 bin caliber trans. Oh, that is clean. That feels pretty good. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He hasn't even started his car since if you guys remember the video where we were racing the Corvette and he blew up his transmission. Daniel, play a clip real quick. That went south pretty quickly, but we've been waiting on his transmission. He got the transmission and his new clutch in. He actually went with intake cams on the car, so it's cammed now. It's got all kinds of good stuff that he did to it while it's down. He got a new shifter put in, so this car is about to come back together and be an animal, especially on the shot of nitrous that he's about to throw at it as well. So once it's back together, we're gonna do some break-in on that car and get it data logged and get it tuned and everything, and then we're gonna see what it does against the Shelby. Because actually, as I found out this weekend, if you guys missed the video of us racing, go seriously check it out, but the Shelby is actually not as fast as I was hoping on this setup. It's only on 6 pounds on wastegate, obviously, so it's not supposed to be anything crazy. It's making like 650, 700 at the wheel right now as it sits. No complaints at all, obviously. It's very fast. And the fun part about it is that I know I can get in this car at any point in time, hop in, drive pretty much across the country, and it's gonna be perfectly fine, perfectly reliable. It's a great car, but today we're gonna spice it up a notch. Today, instead of running on 6 pounds on wastegate, we're gonna add in just a little bit of a twist to it, and hopefully we'll be able to crank up a little bit more power out of it pretty soon. I also got an E90 tune for it as well, so we'll be able to swap back and forth between pump gas and E90, whichever one that I want to run. The E90 tune is going to be very spicy. Anyways though, today we're going to be installing a boost controller on the Shelby, and I'll be explaining to you guys how that works for those of you that aren't familiar with turbo setups, but just take my word for it, this is going to be cool. These Toyo R888Rs are some meats. Even got some scrubbing action going on up front. We were taking some pretty hard turns. I think I pulled 1.2 G's, I want to say. I got a little, of course the door's locked. I've got an accelerometer in the car, so whenever you pull that up, you can actually see how fast you're cornering and braking and everything else. So it's pretty interesting. Those tires, by the way, I meant to tell you, they are wild. I want to take it to a racetrack and put it on like an actual road course and see what it does. After doing that, I was like getting giddy. I was like, dang, dude, that's what we need to do. Comment down below if you want me to see, if you want to see me and Daniel. Daniel's car is going to be ready soon. I want to take this car, being that it's like perfectly set up for road course right now, and I want to take Daniel's 350 out there and let him go do some racing as well. We'll have some fun. That sounds like a blast. I've never been to a road course event, and Daniel went out to NOLA Motorsports one time, but his car blew up in the middle of it, so he didn't even get to finish out his runs and everything. But I really want to go see what this car can do, because it's a monster on the street. Anyways though, we're gonna pull this thing back. Wow, I really just stalled. I want to drain the oil, check the plugs. Still smoking a little bit out of the rear. I'm not sure exactly why, but tune looks to be dialed in real nicely. It smells a little bit rich sometimes, so I just want to check it all out, make sure we got everything good before we blow anything up. I ordered 4 more cases of AMSOIL today, 5W50. I spend so much money on oil. I need AMSOIL to sponsor me. AMSOIL, if you're watching this, I love your oil. I drove this car so much and literally just beat the hell out of it the whole time, and it just took it like a champ and loved it. I'm proud of this thing. This is the first time that I've been underneath the car since we got the turbo kit installed. Everything still looks like it's holding up very nicely, so that's awesome. Our custom fab, PoFab exhaust right here. Looks real nice. Seriously though, Po killed it with this exhaust. It looks amazing. I like how now we can just look at the oil draining and there's just casually a turbo just chilling right here with wastegate and everything. I think something that's pretty funny, everybody was freaking out whenever we put these turbos on there. They're like, your air filters are at the bottom of the car, you're gonna suck in so much water and you're just not gonna be able to drive it anymore. There's a skid tray right here. The filter is still perfectly dry and it's actually raining outside today, and there is no dirt, moisture, or anything on the filter. You know why? Because it's actually above the subframe rail. So if you're going into water that is deep enough to go past your subframe rail in the first place, you shouldn't be driving a GT350. By the way, guys, just seriously here to promote ZL1 add-ons again. This car is so low. Well, actually, the car isn't even low. The front bumper hangs really low, though. And because it's so low, it drags on a lot of things. Oh, my God. But anyways, every time that I hear it dragging really badly, I get out, and these things are holding up so well, it's insane. These are the GT500 winglets for the GT350. Bumper looks perfect. It's been protecting it, and you notice these little buttons right here that we put on the bumper to protect it from the scrapes. You see that one's already gotten dinged up pretty heavy. This one as well. And this one as well. But yet, everything is still perfect. It's protecting everything just like it needs to be. So seriously, go check out ZL1 add-ons. Check out their GT500 winglets, and then they've got the front splitter protectors and all kinds of stuff. These are actually universal. You can put them on any front bumper. So now the fun part, dropping 10 quarts of AMSOIL in here, knowing that all my money is going into this motor. There's 10 quarts. Now we're gonna prime the motor up and get it started up. After that, we're probably gonna, like I said, pull up one of the spark plugs on this side just to make sure that everything is back okay.
Hunky-dory.
If everything looks hunky-dory, then we're gonna go ahead and get started on our boost controller install today. See, that's the way to do it. You prime it like that,
yeah,
and then there's no rattle on startup. Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be the ignorant one with the fucking 5-inch dump through the hood.
That's personality.
Right.
I'm calm and reserved, and you're obnoxious and out there.
I've got this.
So we went ahead and pulled the spark plugs. Well, cylinder 7 was having an issue, and we went ahead and pulled cylinder 5 to compare it, kind of just to see this time what it looks like. And unfortunately, it definitely looks like something is not happy on cylinder 7. Again, this was like the last time when we pulled it, and it was black, and this time it's covered in oil as well and black. Cylinder 5 looks like a very healthy plug, though. That looks very nice.
These are the factory plugs from before we boosted the motor. And when we pulled these out, we really didn't take a look at them because we were just in a rush.
I see
but
it.
if you notice, we've got one here that's fouled and oily as compared to all the rest of them.
I never even saw that.
I didn't either. I didn't catch that. We probably should have run a compression test, but we just kind of trusted the fact that it's...
Well, we did do a compression test just now.
It's only about 5 to 7 PSI lower on average than any of the other ones.
So the cylinder is definitely testing in spec still for compression, but we're having some kind of issue where the plug doesn't look like it's firing all the way. Doug did bring up a valid point. He said that it could possibly be a coil pack issue, except it is kind of odd that we went ahead and swapped all the coil packs around and it still did it on the same cylinder. This was post turbo plugs. You can definitely see still this one is definitely still black from cylinder 7. And then this third set that we've had in this engine, which we had one that was stock engine, one that was post-turbo engine whenever we were doing tuning and stuff. We went ahead and replaced them again, if you guys remember a few videos ago. And this is post the revision, the tune revision, and fixing a lot of the issues. And yet still on cylinder 7 we're having this problem. So that's not good.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this plug to the side. I'm going to grab one of the ones from the other ones from the last time. And then we'll put it back in that same cylinder. I'll swap coil packs and we'll see if it chases around or not.
Okay, so you want to get some that are already pre-gapped, that are a healthy plug from this one?
One of these, like, that looks pretty decent. I mean, they're a little hot burning, of course, but they're not fouled. So we'll take this and use it as a baseline.
If it's not a misfire, we could be looking at a ring issue, but it's weird that we're not having really low compression, so.
Could be ring, could be a valve stem seal or something too.
I mean, the engine does have miles on it. It's a used car, so. It is odd that the first plugs that we pulled out of it stock still had that issue already before the turbos and everything. So that was pre-getting beat on or anything. Pre-boost, pre-everything. So with a slipping clutch and a fouled out spark plug, we were still gapping people yesterday.
I don't know if you were gapping anybody.
I gapped the ZR1 kinda.
You said you also got work trucked.
Oh, I got work trucked, yeah. Bad. I got bad work trucks on. All right, plugs are in, coil packs are in, all that good stuff. Swapped everything around, fresh plug. Do some normal driving, maybe some baby little pulls, but nothing major. We'll come back after that, we'll pull the plug, we'll figure out if that plug is actually being chased, so if it's going to a different cylinder, then we'll know it's a coil pack issue. If it's at the same exact cylinder, we'll have to investigate further. I don't see it being a major issue, but whatever. Even if it is, we'll roll with it.
Another way,
Well guys, we went ahead and pulled out cylinder number 7 again, the plug out of it. Well, we didn't leave it in there that long, but it's still definitely getting there.
Pull the rest of them and take a look on this bank.
That is so strange. So I don't think that it's just a coil pack issue. It looks like it's remaining in cylinder 7 every time. Oh well, boost controller's going on that thing today. We cranking that thing up. Doug said, oh Lord, job security. Doug makes jokes constantly. He's like, every time that I do something stupid and I think it's ending up in something being blown up or broken, he's like, oh well, go for it. Job security for me. He was like, at least I know there will be a job tomorrow. Yeah, see how the electrode down there is like completely covered in fuel or oil or something. I don't know what it's covered in. I didn't want to do this because I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
You can't handle the truth.
No, I can't handle the truth. Doug's pouring oil in the cylinder. We're doing a wet compression test. You guys have been watching the last few videos. You already know what we're doing this for.
For job security.
No, not for job security. This is the second engine that we're doing a wet compression test on, and I swear.
You want to go turn it over?
I swear if we see an increase.
You want to go turn it over?
No, you do it. I'm going to watch it, so I'm going to cry.
Yeah, do you like to munch your steering wheel when you eat or when you drive?
Doug, I'm like half your height, dude. If we see any higher than 220, then we're in a little bit of a downfall. It's not going to be good. Hey, stop.
What?
It only tested 120. I don't think it's in there all the way.
Oh, it might have. I bet it was doing that whenever it was turned over. Here, hold it. What am I looking at? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. This is where Gavin loses sanity. I guess he's laughing at this.
What was that, Doug?
That's what you were thinking, but weren't gonna say.
Nope, say it again. Say it for the ones in the back to hear. That's all, folks. No, I'm joking. That's not good. That is not good at all.
You want a snack? Because it's the same color as your beard. Or half of your beard.
No! Awesome. That is just f***ing mint.
I've always been curious what the internals of a Voodoo look like.
I've never been curious what the internals of a Voodoo look like, to be quite honest with you. So what that means, potentially, whenever you do a wet compression test, we see an increase in compression, that we have got a sealing issue. What does that mean? That means that my guess is that we've cracked a ringland. And reason why I'm saying that is because I already cracked a ringland on this car, actually 4 of them. So I know what it's like whenever you crack a ringland. I know the things that happen after that, and I know the symptoms of cracking a ringland. And you know what? Whenever you crack a ringland, typically what happens is you start burning oil. And see, I've been saying, wow, this thing sure does smell like oil. Wow, there sure is a lot of white smoke coming out of the exhaust. Wow, it sure is running a little bit odd.
Wow, job security.
I want to throw something at you. God, what are you doing?
Don't blame the mechanic. I just put the parts on. It was there before you bought the car anyway.
I know. We're in the middle of diagnosing issues on a $20,000+ engine that I've got in this car because we're having literally the exact same problem. We're having low compression on an entire bank of cylinders. So we think that possibly we're having ring issues on this engine. Now on the other engine, the Voodoo, it sounds like we've cracked a ringland because one cylinder is very low. The spark plug is getting completely covered in oil and all that good stuff. That's just Voodoo engines. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them or not, but the engine that's in a GT350 is a flat plane crank 5.2 liter Voodoo engine. That engine is extremely expensive. Like, whenever I say extremely expensive, I mean seriously, like, honestly, you just probably don't even want to know how expensive it is. If we have in fact cracked a ringland, it looks like we're gonna need a new short block. Yikes. We just went through this entire thing on the black car. You guys remember where the stock motor that was in there, we finally blew it up and we had to get the built motor finally put in the car. And then we put it in the car, and apparently whoever built the short block, I think, had some issues leaving out some rings or something. I don't know. We haven't even gotten far enough to diagnose it yet because we haven't really had the time because we've been trying to push out content for you guys. And then that happens. But then now the Shelby is down a cylinder, which is not good at all. Doesn't look good though. Definitely doesn't look good. Guess I'll keep you guys updated. Guys, it has been a few days since those last clips were recorded, and I'm gonna explain why. A few days ago, whenever we were recording that stuff, if you guys didn't notice, really frustrated that day, I'm not gonna lie to you. Since then though, we've kind of recovered a little bit, and I've kind of we got my head back leveled, and pretty much assessed everything from an objective standpoint, I cannot talk. From an objective standpoint, the engine in Lucifer, the Voodoo 5.2 liter engine, is actually blown. It has been blown, and literally never ever did any of us know about it. And this is why I'm a little bit frustrated. Whenever I first got this car, if you remember, I told you guys that I got the car, it was making a little bit of weird noise, and there was a little bit, it wasn't major stuff, it was just like a little thing that was odd to me. And the car was under warranty. I take it to Ford, I let Ford look through it, and I tell them exactly what's going on. I wanted them to check the engine's health, I wanted them to do all of this stuff. They called me back a few days later, they told me that it was ready to be picked up, and I was like, gosh, that's rather quick. Did y'all find anything? They were like, nope. I was like, okay, well that's odd, let me go look at it then. So I go look at it, it's doing the same thing. They just tell me, oh, that's normal. And I set up some things. You know how whenever you drop your car off at the dealership, typically the smart thing to do is to mark certain things so you can see if they've been removed at all. They have not. I was also complaining about a noise coming from the wheel well. They said they didn't hear any noise from the wheel well. Well, whenever I got to the car and I checked the mileage, it was down to the exact 1/10 of a mile that I left it at, which means that they did not even drive it 1/10 of a mile, which means it never left the dealership parking lot. I was like, you know what, whatever. Fine. They didn't find anything. They didn't fix anything. The car just sat here for 3 or 4 days and I went and picked it up. Well, it turns out that that came back to bite me in the butt, and I'll explain why. So we got the twin turbo kit in from Hurst Performance, right? We get the turbo kit bolted on, and as you guys know, stock exhausts have catalytic converters. So even if we were blowing any oil out of the back, there's no way to know, because the catalytic converters technically are going to grab that oil and burn it off, or at least just hold the oil. I'm sure the catalytic converters are full of oil right now, but you get the turbo kit put on, no more catalytic converters. So upon starting it and running it for the next few days that we had it twin turboed, I noticed that there was a lot of smoke coming out of the back. It was white smoke, and I was like, huh, that's really odd. Okay, that's very strange. So I go and I start doing a little bit of investigating, and I start messaging the tuner. I'm like, hey dude, it's actually Palm Beach Dyno, so huge thanks to Palm Beach Dyno, because I definitely gave them hell for a few days, and I was like, dude, something is going on with this car. Rob was like, dude, there's nothing going on with the car, the tune is perfect. And I was like, okay, well then what the hell? I sent him the video and he's like, I don't know, maybe it's just condensation. I was like, it's not condensation, I'm telling you. And so anyways, me and him continue bouncing ideas back and forth, and then Doug walks up and he was like, let me pull the plugs, let's do a compression test and just inspect everything further. So we pull the plugs, and upon pulling the plugs, as you guys remember, we talked about this a few days ago in the last few videos involving this car, we found out that cylinder number 7 actually was covered in oil. And then we pulled the dipstick and we found out that the oil inside of the car smelled like fuel, which means that there is fuel going from the cylinder combustion chamber down into the oil pan, and also oil coming from the oil pan area up past into this combustion chamber and covering the spark plug and fouling out that cylinder. And once it fouled it out, then the car actually was running a little bit too rich, and that's the fuel smell that I was smelling out of the exhaust. And so I looked at it and I was like, oh no. So me and Doug sat there and talked. We did a compression test on that cylinder, and unfortunately whenever we did it, it was a little bit low. So Doug, as we just now explained in a few videos ago about the black car, which I'm going to get into the whole entire spill about the black car here in a minute, but anyways, whenever we did the compression test on the black car, as you guys know, if there's a ring issue, you do a wet compression test to verify that. When we did a wet compression test, the compression boosted up and bumped to where it's supposed to be, which basically told us that there's something going on with the rings or the ring lands or something of that sort. To go even further on that, I go and I take the stock spark plugs. Luckily Doug kept them after we pulled them out. This was the plugs that came in the car whenever the car was brand new. Before I even show you guys, I do want to show you, these are, as you see there, the Motorcraft original plugs that come in this car, still set to the stock, huge gap there. These came from Ford. These were in the engine whenever I bought it, right? So I just wanted to verify that to show you guys so you didn't think I was lying to you. Now up close here, you're going to see that these are all healthy, all healthy, all healthy, and then we get to this one that for the life of the car has been fouled out. We never even saw it. Obviously we were in a really big rush to twin turbo the car. I was on a very strict timeline if you guys don't remember. So we pulled these plugs, yanked them out, hurried up, slapped the new ones in, and pretty much sent it. But never saw that cylinder 7 looked like that. Now if you guys have heard of a GT350, which most people have if you're in the car scene, you guys could look it up, but the oil consumption is a huge issue. And whenever you get an oil consumption engine, basically what happens is it either blows the ring lands. No, that's pretty much it. Pretty much 99% of the time that they have oil consumption issues, it's just because of blown ring lands. And what can happen is there's a few different things that can make this happen. This engine is extremely high compression. It's 12-to-1 compression. I did buy this car used, so it was pre-owned. There was one owner that owned it before me. Someone could have bought 87 and put it in there on accident. That is very unlikely, but it is still a possibility. Something else that could have happened is the 93 octane gas that you put in the car, maybe the fuel was bad. Maybe they got it from a gas station that had bad gas, which is why I definitely recommend all you guys always going to name brand gas stations like Shell, Exxon, BP, anything like that. There's definitely a possibility that the previous owner of this car put some bad gas in there on accident. And basically what happens is whenever you're running fuel that does not have an octane rating that high for for that high of a compression engine, you start having pre-detonation. Whenever you have pre-detonation, essentially what happens is a lot of damage, which is why you've got knock sensors in the car, so you can see whenever pre-detonation happens when you're tuning your car. But the issue is typically whenever you have a high compression engine like that, once the knock sensors detect knock, it is typically too late whenever it comes to pre-detonation. So like I said, ringland failure is a very common issue on this car, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it is such a high compression engine, such a high revving, naturally aspirated engine at that, making that much horsepower. So I am a little bit bummed, I'm not gonna lie to you, because the engine is toast on one cylinder. The ringland is definitely cracked. But I think what I'm most frustrated about is that I actually did take this car to Ford, explained every issue that we were having. I just never saw the spark plug, which would have sealed the deal, but that's my fault. I'll take full blame for that. I was in a rush, so I was stupid for that. But we took the car to Ford. I told them everything that was going on with it, and I wanted them to look at it, and they didn't. They told me that everything was normal, and I just kind of said screw it because I was mad and I was in a hurry to get it back home anyways. I had dropped the car off there for like 4 business days, so it was gone from like a Friday through a Thursday or something like that. And I think now I'm most irritated because now that the engine, I have verified that it has been blown since I bought the car. I'm pretty much having to come out of pocket with it now because I'm obviously not going to be one of those scumbags that takes my twin turbo car back to stock and takes it to Ford trying to get them to warranty it. That's just, it's above my morals to do anything like that. I'm not that type of person, but I think it's going to be a little bit of fun. It's just really inconvenient being that that car is having the issues that it is at the same time that we just now found out that this engine is blown. And that is why I think I was most upset the other day, and that's why I pretty much just stopped recording, and I spent a few days making phone calls and everything. So anyways, Hell Horse Performance, as always, came to the rescue. I told him, hey guy, I don't know why I just said that. I called him and I was like, hey Jeff, we've got a problem. I was like, so I took my car to Ford. They told me there was nothing wrong with it. We got it back. We turboed it. I found out that we were blowing smoke out the exhaust, pulled the plugs, and now they're covered in oil. We found out that the ringland's blown. Help. And he was like, slow down, Tiger. I was like, okay. He said, okay, here's the issue. Just the short block alone is $9,200 just for the short block. So we're definitely not gonna go that route. You could take your engine and go get re-sleeved and everything. It's gonna take some time, but I can get that done for you for like $5 grand or something like that to get the engine basically sleeved and built. That's not really an option either because of the time. I just got the car, I'm wanting to enjoy it. So I was like, geez, that sucks. And I don't wanna be down for like a few months with that car. I just spent all that money on it. And it's twin turbo now and everything else. So it's like, dang, that really sucks. That wasn't really an option, especially because I know myself, I really do. I don't want to put a built motor in that GT350 because if I put a built motor in that car, that boost is not going to be anywhere close to 10 pounds anymore. That thing's going to be at like 18 pounds, and then I'm going to blow the trans and blow the drive shaft and blow everything else. Shut up, Doug. I definitely didn't want to put built motor in there. So what we're going to do is a little bit ghetto, and I'm letting you guys know that now. You're going to love it though.
It's fine.
It's fine, Doug says. But anyways, look, really primitive. It's going to work. I hope. And this is where everybody's like, are you kidding me? Dingleberry home, baby. Check it out. We are going full scale retard with this engine build. It is kind of dumb though that we're going to do this much stuff on a $10,000, $15,000 engine with the heads, but whatever. In this box, we've got some gaskets. In this box, we've got some head bolts. In this box, we've got, drum roll please. Oh, Doug taped it up. Nice. No, don't. One new piston. The goal is to basically pull the piston out of that engine that is blown, replace it with this piston, dingleberry hone inside of there just in case the cylinder wall's got a little bit marred up from the ringlands being blown out on the side. But the thing that has me less worried is that the piston inside the engine has been blown for obviously a really long time, way before I bought the car, and there's never been any metal shavings in the oil, so I think we're gonna get away perfectly fine with just being able to hone the cylinder walls, put in a new piston, put in new rings, new head bolts, new head gasket, bolt everything back together, and I think we'll be able to get away with this. And Jeff over there at Hell Horse made a very valid point. If this doesn't work, and we're still looking at the exact same issues where we're having compression loss, and it just like, it completely explodes. We've only got $300 tied up into parts, maybe a little bit more, I don't remember, but either way, we're looking at a few $100s tied up into parts. We're just gonna give it a shot. That's the best thing to do, is just give it an attempt. If we can't fix it, then guess what? We're gonna be in the same spot that we're in right now. But to me, it's at least worth the $300 gamble. We're gonna see what we can do. If it works, great. We got away with very, very, very low cost to get it fixed up and back running again. If it doesn't work and it blows up in the next 2 months after we get it back together, well, guess what? We're back where we're at right now, and I'll just look at getting a built motor or a replacement engine or whatever. Plus, whenever we have this out, I do want to put a K-member in here, a tubular K-member, because it is a turbo car, and once you put a tubular K-member, you've got a lot of room anyways, as you guys don't remember from the black car. So that is definitely a thing that I'm going to be excited about. That is pretty much the deal with the Shelby. So it turns out that the entire time time, Shelby's engine has been blown. In this video, we were supposed to do the boost controller, but upon pulling everything, we took it to lunch, and like I said, it was smoking. We did a little bit of diagnosis. Once we found out the ring land is blown, I did not want to proceed with the boost controller. Obviously, you put more boost through there, and that thing is going to explode. So we didn't want to blow anything up. We didn't want to damage our block, because at this point, we should be able to get away with just replacing one piston. Anyways, so far, we're looking good. I just wanted to let you guys know the situation, what was going on. I did want to make sure that I clarified completely that this engine has been like this before I bought it. I know everybody's gonna be like, oh, this idiot, oh, blah, blah, blah. No, it is not, this is not our fault. This engine has been like this. I did not do this this time, luckily. But I just wanted to make sure you guys didn't associate any of this stuff with Hell Horse Performance. That way you guys didn't think that anything was going on with them or their turbo kits. Huh? I don't know. Some guy just showed up.
Yeah.
Yep, people just randomly show up here. I don't understand why. Guys, no offense, but please don't just randomly show up to the shop or the office or anything uninvited. It's not that we don't like you guys to come out here. It's just that it gets in the way of workflow sometimes. We've got a lot of stuff going on, especially in this case. So whenever people just randomly keep showing up and stopping by, it's not a problem. I do like talking to people. I love meeting you guys. It's just during business hours, it's a little bit difficult because we have so much that we've got to do and so many priorities and everything. Anyways, though, that is the deal with the Shelby. We're gonna get it fixed. We're gonna pull the engine. We're gonna get a new piston slapped up in that thing. We're gonna dingleberry hone that thing. We're gonna put it back together with some new rings, new head bolts, new head gasket, and we're gonna send it. Over the next few days, make sure you guys stay tuned. We're gonna be doing a lot of stuff with this engine, and I'm gonna not actually be doing anything with the engine in the black car, and I'll explain that in next video after we posted the video of finding out basically what was going on with the engine and stuff like that, or diagnosing it, or trying to diagnose it, at least in our case. MMR at least kind of really tried to help out here, so I'll talk to you guys more about that in next video though. So now is just not the time to talk about it. But anyways, that's the deal with the Shelby. So pulling the engine out of the Shelby, we're pulling the engine out of the black car. Nothing runs. I'm a little bit upset. We're gonna get it all fixed back up and we're gonna get it going. So at least the Camaro works, the Corvette works, but it's going to a new owner. Meep's having boost cut issues still. I gotta get it retuned. That's kind of unfortunate. And the race truck is almost gonna be running soon. So we gotta get a few more things bolted up on that and get it finished up. And that should be running. So anyways, guys, that is gonna be a wrap for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I guess make sure you turn notifications on, because the next few days and the next few videos are gonna probably get pretty wild. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next video.
Running on, running on, that's right. Tell these bitches please stay in your lane, move along. Might take a trip across the pond just to flex. Papa saying, yeah, we got a long flight home. Say she got a man, but that ring is gone. She my greatest fan, play this song, she sing along. Bounce that